Hey, Louisa here from Saving Siskola. Welcome to my channel. There are many new subscribers here, so thank you for joining. I'm so happy that we can grow our little community of like-minded people from all around the world. I noticed there are many from the States and from Canada, so I'm really happy that you are interested in this little country called Finland and our lives here. Today's video is about gardening, so I hope it's a subject that interests you somewhat. For me, myself, I was never very serious about gardening and I don't have that much experience, so I would categorize myself as a beginner. We have a yard, so I have tried some small things. I tried planting carrot one time, but I didn't thin them out, so they were this size, like my pinky. And last year, I got some small potatoes, seedlings, like started potatoes, and I just threw them in the bucket and left them outside for the whole summer. So in the end of the summer, they were really, they were this size also, so not very much success with that. And a couple of times I bought some vegetables from the supermarket, and then I tried to take seeds from a pepper once and make it grow, and it grew a little, but then it got all moldy and it wasn't a very big success. But yeah, this time I have planned to make a garden at Siskola, so I have decided I'm going to succeed with it. And I made a lot of research about the subject. I saw many videos, I read books, so I have learned many things that I never thought about before. This year I have something I didn't have before, I think, and that is patience. And the most important thing that I learned is that the soil is very important. So the soil should have plenty of good organic matter. That basically means dead plant and animal tissue, which decomposes and enriches the soil. It should have a soft and crumbly texture, so the roots of the plant can grow and reach far. And then hold some moisture, but not retain too much water. The acidity of your soil should be neutral. In general, the closer to neutral your soil is, the better your plants will be able to take up minerals. I bought a pH measuring device and measured the soil where I'm going to plant, and it was 7, which is optimal for most flowers, herbs and vegetables. In contrary of what I have believed, the soil should be disrupted as little as possible. The more we disrupt the soil, the more we disturb the ecosystem in the soil. The ecosystem is what makes healthy, crumbly, nutrient-rich soil possible. So till and dig as little as possible. Add organic matter on the top of your garden instead, and let the earthworms do the work for you. The soil at Siskola has a lot of clay, at least in the bottom, but I think that the top is quite nutritious and has a lot of organic matter, because there's been just leaves falling down there for years and nobody has touched it. And last summer the weeds were growing like 2 meters high, and flowers and everything. It just had like this energy in the ground that when you walk there barefoot, you can feel the energy. So I think that the vegetables should grow really nicely there. Okay, don't laugh at me when I show you all the seeds that I ordered from Poland. As you can see, I went a little overboard with them. I actually got 28 different bags in total. My preliminary plan was to first plant potatoes, carrots, squash, peas and tomatoes, but I got so inspired when ordering the seeds that the list just kept growing. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I just want to try planting everything now. I only paid around 50 euros for the whole batch, including postage and tax. So if the garden is not a success, it won't be the end of the world. I will just try again. But you can't learn without trying, and I believe it's never too late to learn new things. Before we take a closer look at the seeds, let me tell you a little about my garden plans. The biggest challenge at Siskola will be the deers and other critters, so it's important to set up a proper 2-meter or 6.5-foot high fence. Behind the barn would be an ideal spot because it's an old field and gets most of the light. The area will be like a square, 10 times 10 meters, and I will try to fit as many garden beds as possible, but still to have space to walk in between without any problems. I don't have running water at Siskola yet, so it's a little difficult to set up any fancy automatic watering system or drips or whatever they are called. That might be a little of a problem because I'm not there all the time. So I am hoping there will be enough rain, and then I have some watering hacks that I can set up. I like these terracotta pots that you can put water inside. The garden has to be as low maintenance as possible. I will try some different methods, including the Ruth Stout no-dig method and the Hügelkultur raised bed method. The concept of the Ruth Stout method is simple. Mulch plants and beds with natural debris such as leaves, straw, twigs, pruning and pulled weeds. Then let nature do the rest. I have plenty of old hay on the loft of the barn, so that will be great to use for that purpose. The Hügelkultur or mound method is a centuries-old traditional way of building garden beds from rotten logs and plant debris. The mounds are created by first marking out an area for the raised bed. Then you dig in the ground and fill it with woody material that's ideally already partially rotted. And all the microorganisms inside the wood will help the soil to become very, very good. You top it off with compost and soil and it should be good to go. I also have plenty of rotting old logs at Siskola to use. The garden beds ideally should be placed in a north to south orientation, especially for low-growing crops, allowing direct sunlight to reach both sides of the bed. For taller crops such as pole beans, peas and tomatoes, an east to west orientation works best. This is something I had in mind when planning the garden. I have also learned that you have to make sure that the plants you want to grow can grow in the climate that you live. The world consists of different planting zones, and according to the USDA plant hardiness zone map, my zone is 5A, so in the US it would be the same as in Iowa, Nebraska and part of Wisconsin. Now let's take a closer look at the seed haul. I love tomatoes, but I couldn't decide what tomatoes to get, so I got 4 different ones. Tomatoes are not very easy to grow here in the north, unless you have a greenhouse, but I still want to give it a go. The raspberry giant is a lush medium to late field tomato, which grows best when cultivated staked in the soil. This plant is highly valued for its large, slightly flattened red fruit, which has a very juicy flesh. As the name suggests, the raspberry giant produces giant fruit. Not only are they considerable in size, but also taste wonderful. Very good for preserves too. Then there is the Bosman dwarf raspberry tomato. It is a medium to early tomato, also excellent for preserves. They take on a characteristic cylindrical oval shape with a small protrusion in the lower part. They are hard, firm and have strawberry-colored flesh. I also got 2 different cherry tomatoes. Pocusa cherry tomato is an early indeterminate heirloom tomato. It's very popular for its superb flavor and abundant harvest. It grows very long with complex clusters. A variety which produces bright red, small and round fruit with floppy stems. Fruits are tender, juicy and sweet, with a tart zest at the finishing. Mascot is this other variety of cherry tomato that I got. It's quite unique for a tomato in that it grows very little. It is recommended to be cultivated in containers or large pots. The fruit grows just 2 to 3 centimeters or around 1 inch in diameter. Cutting and staking is not vital as far as this variety is concerned. I also would like to grow a yellow cherry tomato. I heard that the sun gold is super delicious. So I will try to get my hands on that one. I also love bell peppers, and just as with tomatoes, they are difficult to grow here, and I'm not expecting any miracles, but I have done quite a lot of research about growing them, so I will at least try. They will be needed to plant already in February inside the house. I have the California Wonder, which is the standard pepper for many decades. It's the largest open pollinated heirloom bell pepper that you can grow. Then I have an orange bell pepper that is called Cassia, and it can be grown in unheated tunnels and in the field. It has a sweet taste and a quite strong aroma. Then I bought this one called Cyclone. It looked like those sweet Ramiro peppers that I love, but it's not a bell pepper, but actually a big chili pepper. It should be excellent to use for salsa and adding crunch to salads. I thought I had ordered more cucumber varieties, but I only got this one. It's the first generation hybrid with the name Altai. It should be a pale green variety with no hint of bitterness. It is an early variety resistant to the most dangerous fungal cucumber diseases, what makes it perfect for organic culture that even amateur gardeners will master. I got two zucchinis, Athena polka and Astra polka. The Astra polka is a high-yielding, early ripening variety. The plant has a glossy dark green cylindrical fruit with white spots, weighing up to 2 kilograms. The Athena polka is an easy-to-grow, low-maintenance plant that produces top-quality, unusual dark yellow courgettes. Yellow courgettes have a thinner skin and slightly sweeter in the flavor than the green ones. I love peas, and they are quite easy to grow, so I got 2 packs of organic field peas called Progress 9. It is one of the earliest long-podded pea varieties available and produces a heavy yield of pointed dark green pods that can be up to 11 centimeters long. It has become extremely popular due to its superb flavor. There are ants at Siskola, so I don't know if that might cause any issues with the peas. Radishes are a must in the garden for me because they grow so fast and taste so nice when fresh. I got 2 varieties. The 18 days radish, it grows in 18 days as the name suggests. This variety produces elongated cylindrical roots, and they have white, crispy and tenderly tasting flesh that is covered with brightly colored red peel and a little white tip at the end. The other variety is Tetra Ilovietska with a nice mild flavor, just how I like them. There are many varieties of carrots in different sizes, shapes and colors, so not easy to choose which ones to plant. But I ended up getting a first-generation hybrid variety called Maestro. It has an extraordinary high tolerance to leaf blight, downy mildew, and anthracnose. Maestro belongs to the varieties yielding richest crops. The roots it produces grow 18 to 20 centimeters or 7 to 8 inches long and reach large diameters. The other variety I got is very similar and called Berlicumer 2 Perfection. This is an organic beetroot variety called Detroit 2. It's an old heritage beet from the US that is intended for direct consumption. It makes very nice sweet juice when pressing. This beetroot called Red Ball is a variety extremely popular in Central Europe. It is widely grown because of its high productivity and excellent taste. If you harvest them young and no bigger than a golf ball, they will be perfect for pickling, and that is why I intend to use them for. Everyone in our family loves pickled beetroots. Strange, right? Beetroot can be planted next to broccoli, and I did get 1 bag of seeds with this Limba variety. It's a valued early broccoli with green florets. It should be quite resistant to cold and diseases and recommended particularly for summer and autumn cultivation. Broccoli is not an easy crop to sow, so if there is space to start them inside in March or April, I might give them a go. I really wanted to plant corn, even if it's an almost impossible task here in Finland, especially for a beginner. Corn loves sunny positions with soils that are rich in nutrients. The corn I have is the sweet hybrid called Ramondia. It produces large cobs with sweet seeds that are 70% golden yellow and 30% white. It's also an excellent variety for freezing. I got some organic onion seeds from this Polish variety called Czerniakowska. It is highly productive with medium to early harvest. It has a cream-colored flesh and a delicate taste. I also got some shallot seeds. Not sure what the variety is, but it should be a fairly little demanding in terms of soils. The most popular vegetable for cultivation in Finland is the potato, and the average potato consumption in Finland is 63.2 kilograms per capita per year. That is a little under 140 pounds. The range of potato varieties in Finland is well over 60, significantly above what's common in the most other countries. I want to plant at least one firm and one mealy variety. I also got some late variety French beans called Finesia. They should be extremely resistant to diseases. They form long 12 to 14 centimeter fiberless dark green pods. I will plant them if I find a good place to put them. I only have one lettuce. It is an iceberg lettuce called Dorée de Printemps with crisp large heads. I might add a couple more salads at a later point, but I won't grow them from seeds. Here are also some chives, cress, dill and parsley that I love. I also want to plant other herbs like thyme, basil and oregano. I will plant a little here and there wherever I can find a place. And they should also keep some pests away. I was also thinking of planting some garlic. That should be quite easy. And maybe even ginger, because we use a lot of ginger at home. Although there are plenty of bees at Siskola, I also want to plant something for them. So sunflowers, marigold and clover is something that they really like. This is how the garden plan looks right now. This is more or less how I'm going to place the garden beds. They are 1 meter times 3 meters long, these ones. And these a bit longer and these a little broader. And I have a list here of the varieties that I'm going to sow and also how many of each I have planned. Here we can take a closer look at the vegetables. I was thinking of planting the low-growing vegetables here in this north to south facing beds. And then the higher growing ones from the west to east. So here we have beetroots and broccoli. Then we have some zucchini and cucumber. Here is onions and chili peppers, carrots, and in the middle the taller ones, these tomato plants. And the basil goes nicely with the tomato. And then the bell peppers. Here are also beans and peas, they grow pretty high. Garlic and ginger, corn, and then the fresh and fast growing vegetables like radish, lettuce and other herbs that can be changed when needed. And then a quite big bed of potatoes. This is where you enter, so you can sit here, have a nice cup of tea, and maybe put your tools here in a box, so there's a little space here as well. I hope you found this video interesting and not too long. I'm not going to go into perennials here because the video is already super long and I don't want you to get bored, but maybe at another time. I know these plans are super ambitious and, you know, maybe a little utopian, but I won't hold it against myself if I don't manage to do everything. I just want to start a garden and see what can be done. And of course, I don't even know if my seedlings will succeed. So we just have to go with this flow and see what can be done. Yeah, okay. I think this is all for today and see you next week. Bye bye.